So I know. Yep. All right, Connor, how are you, man?
I'm doing all right.
Okay, I'm so happy to have you here. My first guest on the BOYZ Variety Show.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
I'm very proud.
You're excited?
Very honored to be here.
I'm really excited for you to be here because it's like we've always envisioned this.
Yeah, for sure.
This moment of podcasting / radio / connection.
Yeah.
Because it's just natural chemistry at this point.
Yeah.
How long have we known each other for?
Well, since 2015.
Yeah. Early. I didn't even have my license.
That's nearly 10 years.
We're getting old.
It's 2024 right now.
And I'm older than you, so I kind of feel like the old person of the house, but
You're the elder.
I'm the elder.
Yeah.
But
very wise.
Regardless. All right. So, my first question for you, because you are a very creative person in my eyes. You do stuff in music. You're a great painter.
Oh, thank you.
Yep. And you do a lot of things. So, do you have any creative influences?
Any creative influence?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I have many. Lots of them.
Okay.
I feel like the ones that I think about the most right now, I don't know. With music, I feel like it's always been, I've always really liked any kind of like Paul McCartney.
Yep.
I feel like
we share this.
Kind of is one of my biggest ones. He paints too.
Yeah. He's a great
paintings.
painter.
I can't say that I don't really paint like that.
No, but
It's
like
not
the
really
ones you
stuff that
did,
I
I was like,
But yeah, no, just like, I don't know, people who like try to dip their foot into a bunch of different things. I always thought that was really cool.
what do you think of Bob Dylan's paintings? Have you seen his?
Who's?
Bob Dylan?
I don't think I've seen those. Wait, is like the like self-portrait cover, is that him?
It might have been him. I don't know.
He like put the cover of his album that has like, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
We'll look at it.
I like his stuff.
Yeah, he does a lot like environmental stuff, but
Okay.
yeah, Paul McCartney, we saw him together in Syracuse.
We did.
He was great for an old guy. Like really kind of brought it down and
Yeah, and
played for a long time.
Yeah, and his band was really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was a good show.
That was a good environment.
It was a good environment. It was very like lots of old people.
Yeah.
But it was fun.
That one guy we sat next to.
Yeah, that guy just went on. And
yeah,
on.
he did go. And he stopped kind of when they started performing, but before it was.
I think he could tell he was a little bit. He was maybe annoying us.
Yeah, he was probably psyched that we were that age and we were going to see him play.
No, he was definitely just excited. And that's fun. That's very wholesome.
I've always been obsessed with like greatness and like seeing that, and like Paul, he's still alive, so I'm not, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. There's definitely. I don't know. There's something about people who are like just like complete outliers.
Yeah.
That just really.
Malcolm Gladwell type shit.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
10,000 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's okay. So Paul McCartney. What else? It can be from anywhere. I mean, I think music is probably the main one, but
yeah. I mean, any of those people that kind of dip their toe in anything, any sort of like Donald Glover.
Yep.
Like a Tyler the Creator.
Yep.
Like a I don't know. I can't think of any other names right now.
Okay, well those are good names.
But just people like that who just like, are just excited about any kind of.
Glover went from
creating
Community
stuff
to Atlanta, and now he's in Mr. and Mrs. Smith, which I heard is good. So I haven't watched it yet,
I haven't seen that yet, but I love Atlanta. That's like one of my favorite shows ever.
It's a great show. Do you have like a life-changing moment? Just like a life, like, did you like experience something and then you're like, wow, that was life-changing?
Like one
just one single thing, and it could be so small. It could be like as small as like hearing a group for the first time, or like going somewhere. I mean, you've been places, haven't you? Didn't you? Where'd you live?
I've lived in a few places.
Okay.
I was. Well, like, I don't know. I'll give you the order of events.
Yep.
Like, I don't really consider myself lived there because I was literally an infant.
Yep.
But I was, like, born in LA. And then, like, moved back to Michigan and then lived in Germany briefly, but also as, like, a tiny child, so I don't really remember that.
Okay.
But then I lived in, like, Massachusetts, outside of Boston, when I was, like, a kid. And I do remember that. And then I lived in Shanghai when I was like an older kid. I definitely remember that. But then I've just like kind of been around here.
Okay.
I was like in, you know, Holland and all
Yeah.
that, of course,
Yep.
and now here in Detroit. But I don't know, like I can't. I mean, this is like a everyone would agree with this, but just like the whole pandemic thing, I feel like really changed me at like a core level.
Yeah.
Like everything just became different after that.
Did you feel like life kind of slowed down, or were you like kind of like, I don't know, like
Yeah, that's a way to put it.
yeah,
Like I feel like the routine and just like everything that like defined my day-to-day sort of like lifestyle was one way before that, and then after that everything became very like everything became dependent on what I wanted to spend my time doing, whereas before I felt like it was very like whatever I was forced to do, because also like I was like in high school living with my parents and stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's like whatever you're forced to do with your parents,
you're like
and with
constricted
school and
to a
stuff and
certain
everything.
area.
Everything feels very, everything had structure.
Yeah.
And then after that all changed. And so I feel like that, like for everyone, was like the biggest change for me. I don't know, I can't really think of a single moment that was like really impactful like that.
Mine's cliche. Mine's
What
like
is it?
listening to Pink Floyd. I swear.
Okay.
When I listened to Dark Side of the Moon all the way through, I was kind of like, wow, this is interesting for me.
For the first time?
Yeah, because it was like I went all the way through, and I feel like it's a real basic answer.
Huh.
But also The Wall. Like
Yeah.
when I feel like I got into Pink Floyd, I'm like, wow, I love the Beatles. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, I'm a Beatles stan, but
Yeah.
Pink Floyd just takes it to this different level that Beatles would never reach.
Yeah.
And so
Well, they're
They're
feel like
different.
that's interesting that like the first time you listen to it, because like for me, I remember listening to them like in like early high school, because everyone just always talked about them.
Yeah.
And like I was listening to it, and I was like, this is boring. I don't need to hear a guitar solo for like 20 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then the more I got into it, and the more like you look into the lyrics and like stuff like that, the more I was like, oh, this is like some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
Because like the lyrics are so like the writers like Roger Waters and
Yeah.
David Gilmour, they're very like wise for being as young as they were.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of their music has some very universal truths in it.
This is British boys, man. I don't
Yeah.
know what it is.
Something
With a
about
lot
it.
of them, because
But then
crazy.
I feel like now as years have gone on, like now when I look back and like I've kind of like re-entered like a Pink Floyd kick more recently, and now it's all about like the instrumentals and stuff and how like
Yeah.
crazy and like
Great Gig
like-
in the Sky.
yeah, that's a good one. I saw Roger Waters live
Yeah, that's
in like
true.
2017, and they did that song, and they had like these two singers, like they were backup singers for everything else, but they came on and like did like
Imagine
they were the
that.
stars for that,
Yeah.
and it was two of them, and they just like sang at each other, and it was crazy. It
Sound
was so
yeah.
good.
Great. It's a great album. And I'm trying to think like
That one's incredible.
cuz you and like you bring up a good point. Like Money and Another Brick in the Wall. Like I always knew those songs. So like I always knew, that kind of
Yeah,
thing, but now it's like
really
you get
famous
into the
ones.
full of it and
Yeah, I feel like I don't know, at least for like everyone knows Dark Side of the Moon. It's
Yeah.
like one of those albums that you listen all the way through, and it's like very complete. But then like I don't know. They have like with like Animals or Wish You Were Here, they're a little harder to get through it because like a lot of the songs are really.
is that Pond?
It could be Pond.
You could let him in. If it's
I don't think it's Pond. But yeah, like some of those albums have like really long songs. But if you kind of separate it and just listen through it all as like one complete package, I feel like that's the way to
It's
do
different.
It's just
It
like
really
it's,
is.
It's weird.
Yeah, I remember. I feel like it was crazy listening to. What's the creepy one that leads into? I'm trying to think of Dark Side, where it's like a creepy kind of like meow, and then it just like
On the Run is kind of scary.
on the run,
Yeah.
and then it like leads into the other stuff. And
Yeah.
but yeah, okay. Then this is my final question, that we can just kind of go from there. So, do you feel like you have like? I'm not gonna ask favorite movie because that's really broad, but like, what
Yeah.
are some of your favorite movies? Like, what
Okay.
are like movies that are like you're like, yeah, I'd watch that over and over and over
Okay.
again.
Yeah, I feel like every time my answer for that are the ones that like just impacted me the most.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not like the best movies.
Yeah, change,
But they
influence.
did something for me.
Yeah.
I feel like one of the first movies to ever do that was like, I want to say like this is, everyone's gonna pick this movie, but just like The Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah, great movie.
Just that story, like that. Obviously, I don't relate to it in any way. It's just like a crazy story that I remember. That was like the first time where like watching that ending just like made me really feel something. You know, the way they go through all of that.
Yeah.
And then like finally meet up again.
Yeah.
It's just like a very wholesome like friendship movie. That was like impactful on me. I thought mid-90s was really impactful for me because I feel like that
movie. I just rewatched
movie,
it recently.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of the only movies that like really, for better or for worse, represents like how like young boys like become friends and like interact. Like I felt like that was really realistic, for better or for worse. There's some weird stuff in there.
Some teen angst.
Yeah.
Sonny just getting some Alexis action. That is crazy. When I rewatched that, I'm like,
that is wild.
I'm like, come on. Like, you mean Kratos' kid?
Yeah.
I mean, jeez.
No, that's wild. But and then more recently, I watched Frances Ha, and that movie just
on my list.
I feel like that movie just captured exactly how I feel in like life right now.
Yeah.
Like I've never related to a character more than Greta Gerwig's character in that.
She's great.
Yeah.
I love her.
Yeah. I think that's such a good one.
This is a great answer.
Yeah, those are like the three I can think of.
Those are really good.
There's definitely more.
I like Greta. Movies are so good. I mean, I'm gonna talk about this because it's like I don't think people underrate movies and the movie going experience, and we've gone to a lot of movies together.
Yeah.
And I just think it's such a like to go and talk about it even if you don't like the movie. Like Poor Things was very much like I know a lot of people. Shout out Bryson, if you're watching this. If he went to this movie, we would argue about that movie for the next hour and a half.
Yeah.
It's just like an experience to be had.
It definitely generates like a conversation.
Yeah.
And I think that's like, I don't know, that's not for everyone. Not everyone's going to enjoy doing that, but I really like it.
Yeah.
And it like, I don't know, there's something fun about like analyzing and arguing with your friends about it. I don't know. I think that's cool.
I remember when we first watched Fight Club, and this is a very cliche experience for a boy to have. It's a true story. It's a true story that when you watch that movie and you go, yeah, we should blow it all up. We were just talking about it yesterday. Yeah. It's so funny how that movie goes. And I don't know. I just think...
No, that movie's very like... It's very cool.
Yeah.
You know, like it's fun to think about. Like,
it's got what's her name in it. You know, the female actor who was married to Tim Burton for a bit.
Yeah, I know you're talking
she's
about.
very
I
cool.
forgot her name. Helena something, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's cool.
And
like everything about that movie is just like cool, and like it definitely makes you feel like a, I don't know, like a very edgy.
Yeah, it does. I remember wanting to be like a little more emo after that, and just being like, yeah, no, I don't care about this.
Yeah, we live in a society.
We do. We live in a society.
We live in a society.
What do you think of Tim Burton?
I think he's like kind of a questionable guy. Doesn't he doesn't want anyone of color in his movies?
Yeah, doesn't fit his aesthetic.
Yeah, that's just like, I don't know.
It sucks because he has some really good movies, and when I heard that, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, and like, I don't know, like the aesthetic of his movie is cool, but like I don't think it would be negatively affected by like having people of color in it.
No,
I don't know. He seems questionable, but I like his like. I like kind of some of the style stuff, and I like Big Fish a lot.
Big Fish is
my favorite.
Best Tim Burton movie.
Yeah, that has the same girl, Helena, whatever.
Yeah, and she plays a little more standard character.
Yeah. No, I like some of his movies. And,
I'm trying to think
what did he do? Like, what is it? The Nightmare Before Christmas? Is that him?
Yeah, he did Rango too, didn't he? Is it Rango? Yeah, he did Nightmare Before Christmas. I know. Corpse Bride, he did.
I think Johnny Depp directed
Rango.
But yeah, I like some of his stuff. He's definitely not one of my favorites.
No, I was just thinking about him because he's done a lot of work.
I think his style is cool.
I like Beetlejuice a lot.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty funny movie.
Yeah.
And Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah.
I like that too.
That's a great movie. Yeah, I think, I don't know, it's weird that you have to fit an aesthetic, like can't put black people in a movie because...
Yeah, that's like, I feel like he's like overcommitting to the bit.
It's one of my digs for him at Gotham City when he does Batman. That it looks so awesome when you first start that movie, when you're like, wow, this is like gothic and like for real. But then there's Two-Face, and he's the only black guy in it. Well, Harvey Dent.
Okay.
But he's not Two-Face yet. But then it got canned, and so they never had him progress as a character. So they didn't have any black people besides like low-level thugs, which is of course terrible for representation.
Yeah,
that's
not great.
It's always how it goes. It feels like it's just like, oh yeah, we'll cast some black people, and they're gonna be villains, and they're gonna be thugs that are dumb, and it's like, come on, guys, we gotta reach a little more, and not just I don't know, pull at strings, but yeah, that just kind of brought up Tim Burton, but is there anything you would like? Are you making music right now? What's your process been like recently?
Yeah, I'm in a little bit of a weird spot right now. So like, I had a band before, like about a year ago.
Midwest Nice.
And
Great band.
We were playing a lot together, like last year, and then kind of like by the spring, everyone was kind of like most of us had graduated college, which was kind of, we all went to the same one, and like, that was kind of like what tied us all together. And then like over the summer, like we just had not really met up a lot. But then like I always keep in touch with Christina, like our singer, because we're pretty good friends. And like, so we hadn't really been working on stuff. So I did some little shows like by myself, and I worked on a lot of music by myself for like the past 6 to 8 months. But now more recently we started jamming together again, and I don't know, I'm trying to just like, I'm like looking for jobs in like social media marketing related to music stuff, so I've been trying to make like little videos, like just little Instagram reels of like me playing and doing some improv over it. So like, it's just been a lot of like playing by myself lately, but more recently I've been able to jam with the band, and we have some shows coming up, so I'm feeling good about like being in like a band again.
Okay.
And that's really nice.
Do you have like a preference? Do you like working by yourself? Do you like working with a band?
Working with other people.
Okay.
Absolutely. There's just something about like playing with other people and like really getting into the pocket and like just jamming out, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's like when you play together, like anything can happen, you know?
You play off each other. And,
yeah. It's like, you know, we don't play jazz, but it's kind of like that feeling of like, it's really fun to just play together, because it's literally like almost like a conversation with each other.
Yeah.
You really lock in, and it's so satisfying. And like also like making last year, like recording our song and like kind of marketing it and setting up the shows to promote it and stuff. That was such a satisfying and like cathartic process, because it took like a lot of work and organization for us to like get together and write it and record it and like produce it with this dude in Ypsilanti, and it was such a process. And then we had the show that like promoted it, and when we released it, and like all of our friends were there, and it was so cathartic and satisfying, and I want to do that again.
Yeah,
I want to do that more.
Okay.
I don't know.
I have a question for you. Do you feel like kind of, because I have a hard time promoting my stuff on like social media, and I just feel like when you put a lot of stuff out, you're like, people just want me to shut up, don't they? Do you ever have those feelings?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
That's 90% of the
Because I feel like the payoff, I mean, it happens, but you're just like, oh my god, the whole time you're like, I'm just annoying everyone, but you're not. You know, it's just a scroll on.
I mean, realistically, I think most people are just like indifferent, which is in its own way kind of upsetting, but like it's not that big of a deal.
No.
Like if you're making stuff and you want to show it to people, like some people will be interested, most people won't. Like I feel like really what is important is that you are doing that, because most people are not.
Yeah.
And then you get to say that you made some cool stuff.
Yeah.
And like it doesn't really mean anything, but like
it's true. I mean, we're all gonna die.
it's kind of cool.
And I think you bring up a good point, because I think if you get joy out of creating it,
Yeah,
that's
what
what's
matters.
important. Yeah, because it's like, for me to make art, I like to make it, but all the other stuff in between, I can't really stand. So it's like, it's just hard.
Yeah, because it's not really, I don't know. I feel like what's natural is like when you're able to like focus and just like really be into like making whatever you're gonna make, whether it be painting, music, editing a video, taking pictures outside, like doing whatever you're doing, like that's like what is natural and what is kind of like what you want to try to involve yourself in the most. Whereas like promoting it, trying to get other people to look at it and like it, is like, that's very unnatural, and it's not very it's not gonna make you like feel good.
No.
Even if you do well, like maybe you'll feel good about like a bunch of people liking your stuff for a while, but I don't know. I feel like what is satisfying is the like pursuit,
the craft.
The craft.
Yeah, I feel you for sure, because I think even if I like gain a little more popularity with a painting, I don't feel good about it, because I'm like, oh, now I'm just like reaching. But I totally am with you. I think it's so important to just focus on the craft of it.
And it's easy to say that when you're not like relying on it for like money. But if you were like doing it professionally, then different story. But like, I don't know, at least for me, like I'm kind of just doing it as a way to give myself something to do and to like kind of set myself apart a little bit.
Expression.
So, yeah. It's just like a way to express yourself.
Let a boy be swaggy. That's what Jesus wrote in the Bible. I think.
He did write that. I think that's
but that's cool, man. I really like to hear about your music pursuits, because I'm a long-time fan. I am a fan.
I appreciate it. You have been a fan since the beginning.
I think it's important to be a fan, and I think it's better if everyone wins.
Yeah. And being a fan is so fun.
It is.
It's like you get to follow whoever or whatever's like whole journey.
What are you gonna do? Just not like things?
Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta be a nerd for things. You gotta be into stuff. Like, I just feel like it's really important.
Getting like unnecessarily excited about things and being super annoying to people about it. I love it.
People call it irrational. We call it being ourselves. You know. Okay. Now I'm gonna do like a quick I'm gonna give you 3 things, and you just gotta tell me your thoughts on them. Dating apps.
Dating apps. Oh man. I think, I don't know. It definitely works. It depends on what you're looking for. Like, it definitely works for
probably people that are there for the right reasons.
Yeah, like I think it can work. Like, it really depends on what you're looking for.
Okay.
Like, if you're looking for like a serious relationship, I think it's harder. I don't think it's definitely not impossible. Lots of people, it's like the number one way people meet. So yeah, like it totally works for that. For me, I remember getting like really like I just remember like really disliking it. Like every time I would like meet up with someone, I felt like it felt really, I don't know, like it never felt like super natural to me. It just always felt kind of forced and like, I don't know. Like, you meet some cool people, but like largely I would say it's not for me. But like if you're just looking for like a short-term thing, then it's like the ideal way to do it, because then you can kind of filter out, like, immediately, you're like, oh, does this person like me? They do. I can talk to them. We can meet up. Like it makes the whole thing easier.
Yeah.
And it's probably a lot less mental stress of trying to figure all that out.
Yeah.
So it can work, but it can also be like, stressful and unpleasant. But I don't know. I'm pretty neutral to positive about them.
Neutral to positive. That's pretty solid. Okay.
Yeah.
We got 3 minutes and I gotta reset it. But I think we could probably finish in that time.
Okay.
5-day work week. What do you think?
I would love that.
You would love a 5-day work week?
Yeah, I would love just like a consistent schedule.
Okay. Would you do a few more hours if you could work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or would you do would you prefer a 5-day work week?
I would do a 5-day work week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah, I would love just like consistent schedule, like a routine. That, I don't know, that's when I'm always doing my best, is when I have like just a routine.
Yeah, I get that. Okay, last question. What would you come back on the show?
Sure.
Sure, or like
Yeah,
you would
yeah,
like
definitely.
to? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I would definitely like to.
Connor, yeah, this is it for me. This is under 30 minutes. It's
That's
the longest I've done so far.
Yeah, I
But
feel like that's a good
I think
time.
we don't need to go any longer. You know, if you want to, you can go and check us out again because Connor will be back on again. So.
I will.
All right, so this has been the Wizard Variety Show with Connor, and he's just a classic man. I love this dude. We go way back. He's like my brother. So, thank you so much for coming on, and pay attention. Follow my Instagram. Follow his Instagram. I'll tag it.
That's so kind.
Yeah,
Thank
of
you
course,
for having
man.
me.
Of course.